Assalamu alaikum and welcome back, sisters. You're watching Women's AM with myself, Nusrat, and Sema, and we're joining us today on our final segment. We have Farrah Azam, an artist inspired by henna, mother and entrepreneur. So Farrah, you've come to join us to talk about, your entrepreneurship and how you're very much inspired by henna. So, for example, how did you get into henna, and how has social media helped showcase your work in that sense?
My educational background is in psychology, and I had a kid as soon as I graduated, and so I was a stay-at-home mum. So I couldn't really pursue a career in psychotherapy, which is what I wanted to initially do. So I guess it was boredom that led me to this, and I just started doodling. I've always liked henna. I've always liked the design element of henna, but I've never really liked to have it applied on my hands. But I just wanted to do something very unconventional with it, and so I just started experimenting with different ways of preserving it onto different surfaces. And yeah, so that's how it began, that's how my journey began. And because it was something quite different, as I was painting on products and not on hands, I think it just got quite a bit of attention.
I think that's a very good thing, because I see actually there has been a rise actually in people actually using body as a means of creative expression in that sense, and I think it's very good to kind of showcase that as well. And I'm sure that kind of creativity must also rub off on your children as well. So how do you find motherhood and pursuing henna? How do you find juggling motherhood and your artistic endeavours?
It's been quite challenging at times because, my eldest is 7, so it's not too bad, but I've got a 1-year-old as well. And I just work around them, just work around his nap and times that he's going to sleep. And I've just put him into a private nursery a couple of days a week, so I've got more time. My family are very supportive, so I have help from them. You just manage.
Yeah, because sometimes with me, I'm just thinking how we actually juggle things. But I think it's very inspiring actually for other people who want to also pursue that, how they can juggle their artistic endeavours and their family life in that sense, which I think is actually a very good thing and something that can inspire us all. But you know what? You have illustrations in this book, Henna Sanctuary by Farrah Azam, by you. So in this book, you actually show us the different kind of designs. Are these designs that are like your musings, or?
Yeah, so these designs are mainly inspired by henna, but also I've taken inspiration from lots of different art forms, especially the work of William Morris. He's my favourite artist. He's a British artist, actually, and he designs on he used to design on wallpapers. So I would say it's an infusion of various different art forms.
That's incredible.
It has quite an East meets West feel about it.
I think for me, like, when I see these designs, it makes me actually want to kind of think about having these applied on myself, because I've only ever had henna once actually.
Oh, okay.
Yes, only once on my arm, and it was a very simple design. But I actually liked how a lot of time is actually taken to actually do this, like almost like how a tattoo artist just really takes time to get the designs right. So are these kind of also designs that you would actually or possibly put on people if possible?
I don't actually paint on the body. I only do illustrations and I do hand painted work. So no, but I have designed tattoos and stuff like that, and they can be applied by somebody else, but I don't actually apply on the body.
Oh, anyway, that's very good. Like when I look at these as well, it makes you want to colour. I
feel like colouring
in.
It's got so many therapeutic benefits as well. I mean, even intellectual benefits. Colour choice, deciding on colour choices and stuff. This is all sort of, you're helping with concentration and focus, and it's a stress relief. It helps with anxiety. It has lots of benefits for adults as well.
I mean, I do henna, but like on the body, so I can just again like a pastime.
Okay.
Yeah. Not as great as that. But,
I'm sure you're very good at it too.
But yeah, it's just obviously when you've got family weddings or anything, or like Eid's coming up, and it's like the one person that can do henna for the whole family. It's like, all right, then bring out the cones. But it's really I totally understand with the whole therapeutic.
I think it's got lots of psychological benefits, and I think that's why I was so interested in creating a colouring book, because I've got that educational background in psychology, then I've also got a passion for art. It was a nice way of bringing my two interests together.
And I can see actually how your interest as well, in terms of you being a mother, like it's something that can inspire your children. So have your children also tried to develop your skill and gift?
Yeah, I mean, well, my youngest, he's too young, but my 7-year-old, he absolutely loves art. He's always colouring in the pages for my colouring book. And I've donated some of these colouring books to his school as well. And that, they do these special like activities at school, and he's really proud of it. And he's like, my mum did those.
So you did also work on a guitar. Like, what inspired you to do henna on a guitar, and what other mediums have you used to kind of, highlight or showcase your henna, actually?
I was actually approached by a few musicians and they asked me to paint on their instruments, and because it was something quite unique, it got a lot of attention. I like to work on things, like I've just recently started working on fabric, so I've started recreating my designs onto t-shirts, and I did superhero t-shirts with henna designs. So it was something very unique because superheroes is not something that you would usually associate with henna, because it was something quite different. It got quite a lot of attention, and those did quite well. And I've just recently started applying my designs onto cookies. Ooh. So I've been recreating them with icing. So that's another medium that I use. So
I think that's very. It's also very unique because I would never think to make the association between henna and cookies or henna on guitar. I think it's actually a very good thing, and it's something that's very diverse in terms of artistic. In terms of artistic kind of plurality as well. So any other things that you want to apply your henna to, or what direction would you like to take your creativity in that field?
At the moment, I'm just focusing on the cookies because a lot of people have been asking me about those, and I've got a workshop coming up at the end of July where I'm going to be teaching this. It's going to be my first workshop on cookie decorating. I'd like to mass produce some of my designs. I'd like to do more sort of illustrations, perhaps even publish another colouring book.
Oh, that's good. I think you should actually I think hopefully it'll be very good for you to come and actually teach us how to do that, because I'm not very sometimes good with the practical aspects of doing these kind of things. So I think it'll be very good to learn from you how actually it's done.
Well, I've got a training academy as well, which I run, so I train students. So.
That's good.
Oh,
wow.
That's amazing.
That's
really
good.
Thank you.
Okay, anyway, thank you very much, Farrah, for actually bestowing upon us your creativity and wisdom in this field.
Thank you so much for having me.
Okay. Unfortunately, we have come to the end of the show today. Jazakallah to our special guests, Samar Haq and Farrah Azam, and of course to you, our viewers. Don't forget to tune in tomorrow when we'll be discussing, or tune in on Monday when we'll be discussing the issue of community in the Muslim, the issue of community cohesion in the Muslim community. Join us in that discussion at 11 a.m. and don't forget, if you've missed any of the action this week, you can catch up with Women's AM highlights at 11 a.m. on Sunday.